Hello, everybody. This video is going to cover fraction and decimal word problems. Now, anytime you have to solve a word problem, you always need to think, all right, what is this really asking me to solve? And a way to figure that out, if you look at the last sentence of a word problem, it almost always gives away what you're solving for. So here, look at the last sentence, and here it's perfect. There's a question mark, so right away that indicates it's what you're solving for. You're solving for 6 servings. So then if you look in the problem, say, all right, a recipe requires 1/4 cup of sugar for each serving. And then how much is necessary for 6 servings? All right, if you don't know how to approach a problem like this, what I suggest you do is the next thing that I like to do, which is draw a picture. If it's possible, draw one. So what I'm going to do is draw a 1/4 cup. There's my 1/4 cup. Now that's how much it is to make 1 serving. But I want to know for 6 servings, so I have 6 of them. Is the operation clear yet, what we're going to do? There, I have 6 of them. Hopefully you realize that it's just 1/4, the amount for one of them, times 6, because you want to do 6 of them. To do this, you would do 1/4 times 6 over 1. You could cross simplify. I'm just going to multiply here. Numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. Now you have an improper fraction. Make it into a mixed number. 4 goes into 6 one time. There's 2 left over. Keep the denominator. This could be simplified to 1 and 1/2. Now it's a word problem, so you're not done until you give it a label. 1 and 1/2. And what do we want to know is how much sugar is necessary. So 1 and 1/2 cups of sugar. That's what we are looking to find out for the 6 servings. Okay? Pretty cool. Here's another one. A painter painted 1/3 of a house on Monday and 0.25 of the house on Tuesday. How much of the house is left to be painted? Wow. Well, this is another one where I would draw a picture. So, don't spend too much time drawing your house, okay? I'm going to leave out the windows and doors on purpose. I'll put a roof on there, though, okay? Here, how about this, too? A little chimney with smoke. All right. And then what you want to do is, all right, the painter came and he painted 1/3 of the house on Monday. Well, that seems kind of goofy, but all right, let's say he came and he painted this much of the house, right? And he painted this beautiful yellow, because that's the color that you like. There. And then he came back on Tuesday and he painted 1/4 of the house. Like that. And what you want to know is how much does he have left to paint? See, this is where a picture really comes in handy. So the first thing you have to do is say, all right, well, I have here was 1/3. Here was 0.25. If I took these two and added them together, then I could find out what was left over. Because here you want to know how much of the house is left to be painted. So I have 1/3 plus 0.25. This will tell me how much was already painted, but it won't answer the question. So, looking at this, I have to convert them to either fractions or decimals. If I convert 1/3 to a decimal, it's going to be 0.3 repeating. I don't like that. So instead, what I think I'm going to do is convert 0.25 to a fraction. Remember, you say that number as 25 hundredths, so that's how you would write it, 25 hundredths. And then you can reduce it. So I have 1/3 plus 25 hundredths reduced is 1/4. To add fractions, I need a common denominator, so I'll multiply here by 4 over 4, and this one by 3 over 3. Then I have 4/12 plus 3/12. So 7/12 of the house was painted. This is how much was painted. Be very careful when you solve a math problem, especially a word problem. A lot of students do the math and they think they're done. Go back to the question, see if you really answered it. You want to know how much is left to be painted. So you could say, all right, I have 7/12. I could count up 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I would have 5/12 left, so this part is 5/12. Or another way is say, all right, well, the whole house minus 7/12 would give me what's left. Now the trick here is, all right, how do I do 1 minus 7/12 without a calculator? Well, you could change this one. You could change 1 to a fraction. Here, my denominator that I have is 12. So another way that I could write 1 as a fraction is 12 over 12, because 12 over 12 is 1. And then I could take away the 7/12. I already have a common denominator that way. And this would be equal to 5/12. So 5/12 of the house needs to be painted. To be painted. Okay? Cool. Let's move on, shall we? Abigail, she went to the market and she bought some cheese. In fact, 3/4 pound of cheese, and it's selling for $4 a pound. And then she bought 2.5 pounds of turkey breast. That's selling for $3.50 a pound. How much did she spend? Okay, well, first thing you have to do is look at this 3/4 pound that's selling for $4. Then 2.5 pounds for $3.50. And then we got to do the math with those. So I have 3/4 times $4 per pound. This is the same thing as 3/4 times 4 over 1. I could cross simplify, but I'm not going to because they're easy numbers. I got 12 over 4, which is equal to $3. This is how much it costs for the cheese, $3. Again, I took the 3/4 times the cost per pound. So I'm going to do the same thing then with the turkey. I have 2.5 pounds of turkey, and it's $3.50 a pound. Well, now, here I am again. I have a fraction and a decimal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make them so that they are both fractions. I like doing the math with the fractions here a little bit better. That's just a preference. So you could do decimals if you wanted to. So this would be 2.5 times 3.5, because that's 3/50, which is the same thing as 3.5. Now what I'm going to do is going to make these both improper. So 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5 over 2, times 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7 over 2. Multiply numerator by numerator, which is 35, over denominator times denominator, which is 4. This can be reduced. 4 goes into 35 8 times. There is 3 left over, and denominator stays the same. Now, $8 3/4, hopefully you realize that 3/4 is 0.75, but if you don't, then change that to a decimal. You do that by doing 3 divided by 4. Add the decimal point. Decimal goes straight up, yo! 4 goes into 30 7 times. 7 times 4 is 28. Subtract. Add another 0. Bring it down. 4 goes into 20 5 times. There's no remainder, so 3/4 is the same thing as 0.75. So she spent $8.75 for turkey. Now, you have to look and say, did you actually answer the question? The last sentence says, how much did she spend? So in other words, total. So you would take 3 plus 8.75. And then you would get, whoa, 11.75. So she spent, I guess you should start with Abigail, because language arts teachers would be much happier if you started with the girl's name. Abigail spent $11.75. Okay? Is that good? I think so. Let's try another one. An office bought 25 calculators for $168.75. What was the cost per calculator? All right, so I have a bunch of calculators and I have a total amount of money. I want to say if I divided that money up into how many calculators I bought, I would get the cost per calculator. In other words, if I took the total amount that I spent divided by the number of calculators that I bought, that would give me the total cost. So, for this problem, straightforward division. I'm going to do 168.75 divided by 25. 25 goes into, it doesn't go into 16, it goes into 168, though, 6 times. 6 times 25 is 150. And I'll subtract. It doesn't, 25 does not go into 18, which is good. I bring the 7 down, goes into 187. 7 times, I don't want to forget to bring my decimal straight up, 7 times 25 is 175. Subtract. Bring this one straight down. 25 goes into 125 5 times. And we are done. So the cost per calculator was $6.75. Okay? That is all.